Hey, I'm Don. It's late. I'm up. Hi. How are you guys doing? Nice to talk to you. Nice to see you again. Boy, your boy's been on one. Since last night, in the last 24 hours, we started watching Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I got some sleep in. And then did In the House with Larry, 2 hour Alien Day edition on his channel. And then stuffed some chicken nuggets in my gullet and went on Sean's channel, Cinephile Sanity, and there we watched Aliens for Alien Day with him, me, and Larry, and then the horror cat dad, and uh, uh, Texas Hardcore Russell and Sean. So yeah, boy, I've done 7 hours of live streaming in the last 24. So I thought instead of getting some sleep, I should watch a movie with you guys. Right? Right. So we're gonna watch Death Proof, Tarantino's attempt at horror. Although he's even said it's not a traditional horror movie. It's, in my opinion, it's more of a Brian De Palma homage. But Tarantino always does Brian De Palma homage. A great deal of this reminds me of Blowout with John Travolta, if you've ever seen that one. Oh boy, hey, we already got people filing into the chat. Anthony Chabot does pop cultures and openings. He says, "Good evening, buddy. I saw Abigail and it was good." Oh yeah, really? I do think I saw you on your way to see that. Did you post that on Instagram or something? But yeah, I'm glad you liked it. Horror Cat Dad also gave a bit of a review on tonight's episode of In the House. Oh yeah, Death Proof. There's my buddy Sean. I was just over on his channel, so be sure to follow Cinephile Sanity. Larry and I did the tag team into house thing for Aliens, and we had a nice discussion. He and I had previously done a stream where just he and I watched it, but since it was Alien Day, I figured we had more to say. So I always have more to say. That's a good thing with being a blabbermouth. You always got more to say. I just tried from your job program. That's good. I hope that's going well. I saw it on my app. Oh, your phone on. There you go. Oh, Mr. Bones says for shizzle. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Welcome, Bones. Welcome, Bones. Man, of course, the Queen is here, man. Welcome, Queen. She was along for the ride of both. Were you in the house? You were for sure with us with Aliens. It's all starting to run together. It's ins and outs and things that lot going on in the duder's head. Anthony says he's also up to 1996 in his memoirs. So be sure to keep an eye out for Anthony's memoirs coming up. Death Proof makes me want to eat nachos. I think everything makes me want to eat nachos. It's pizza. I want to eat pizza always. I want to eat nachos always. If I could just have pizza, nachos, and maybe beer. I don't know. Too much beer is a bit rough, but too much pizza and too much nachos isn't a thing. I can always do that. Hey, May. Don, long time no see. Yes, man. Thank you. We've been hanging out all day. People are going to start to talk. Bad to the bones. People are saying hi to one another. I saw the Doctor Who Christmas special. It was awesome. I do recall that. I remember when it happened. I didn't see it though. It's the new Doctor Who, right? The most recent update of it. I don't know how Donna's doing another stream, but I've done it before, and it's fun. It can burn you out on top. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Last night at 1 a.m., we watched Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. Then we went into the Into House and did a 2-hour show there, and then I did a 3-hour show for Aliens on your channel, and now we're doing Death Proof. And there's some question how long this is going to go. Tubi is where I'm going to be watching it. It leaves Tubi in 4 days. So I thought, well, I better crank this one out before it disappears. So if those of you would like to watch along, it is currently playing on Tubi. Unless you've watched this 4 days after the release of this video, then I don't know where it is. I don't know what to tell you. But Tubi claims that this is going to be 1 hour and 54 minutes. Google claims this movie is 1 hour and 27 minutes. IMDb says it's 2 hours and 7 minutes. So yeah, I'm going to give it a watch. The Death Proof here, it says it's 154. I'm assuming that's on Tubi, and then there'll be commercials. So that 2 hour or something, I don't know. But we'll give it a run. We'll give it a go. Let's see here. Hello, man. They talk already. Let them. Yeah. What's up, Anthony? I was thinking about doing Death Proof and Planet Terror at some point. Why not? Get the whole Grindhouse experience. That's actually how I got started on this. I thought at one point I would do a double feature, but I believe it was Max only had Planet Terror, and they didn't have Death Proof. And then I searched around for Death Proof. Maybe it was on something I didn't have, on one of the many streaming services I don't subscribe to, since there are like 90 of them. But on there, I was basically, the whole point was I'm having trouble to put both of them together. Like one would be on one site and one would be on another, and this one was blocked to me and this one wasn't. I know you often use a Look Movie and some of those other places where you can get a hold of pretty much everything, but yeah, I'm gonna have to. I thought about doing that as well. I'd like to do the whole Grindhouse experience with the trailers and all of it. The Werewolf Women of the SS and Thanksgiving, which is now a real movie. That's crazy. BRB, you got to get another like over here. All right, thanks, Sean. I appreciate that. Yeah, so we're gonna give this a watch. It's supposed to be an hour and 54 minutes. Just under 2 hours. So we'll wrap this up around 3:30, 4, depending on commercials. But I figure there's a lot to talk about with Tarantino and with the plot of this movie. Is it a horror? Isn't a horror? Et cetera, et cetera. Oh, Mayon's laughing. So I'm going to go ahead and start this in a minute or two. What is it, 1:37? I've already brought it up. Like I said, it's on Tubi. It and Jackie Brown both leave in 4 days. So if you're a Tarantino fan and you have Tubi, make sure to jump on it. Let's see here. Mayan says she's watching it on Look Movie. Okay, yeah. So I wasn't sure if it was there or not, but she's going to try and stay up for it. Yeah, this is an interesting one. A lot of people didn't like it, and other folks loved it. I think it's kind of I like all Tarantino. I got to admit, I'm a fan of the dudes. So this I find incredibly interesting, fun. It's a departure. It is horror, but it is kind of a thriller, and it's a lot of character building and stuff, as all Tarantino does. There's a lot of expository dialogue. There is some cool parts in here that I'll bring up when we get to them that I really think were sort of innovative, which is weird for Tarantino because he does a lot of cobbling together of his favorite stuff, and this has a lot of that too. So yeah, I'm gonna watch this on Tubi and get this started. I have it brought up. I'm gonna press play in 3, 2, 1. Oh, there we go. It's probably gonna hit me with a commercial up front. Yeah, there we go. That's how Tubi do me. So if you're watching along on Look Movie, you're already ahead of me. Damn it. Looks like they're going with the short commercial up front. I'm a fan of Tubi's planning. I often keep track of how they do this. Sometimes Tubi will give you the 2-minute commercial up front, and then you'll have like 20 minutes without a commercial. Otherwise, sometimes they'll give you like the minute or 30-second commercial up front, and then they'll hit you with another one like 10 minutes in. So how they stagger their commercials fascinates me. So yeah, this version does appear to be 1:53:44. It's just starting now. So what logo is this? Oh, Lionsgate. How appropriate for a schlocky movie, right? It's been a minute since I've seen the Lionsgate logo. I was caught off guard. And here's the old Shaw Brothers feature presentation, the old 70s music and the weird kind of blown out 60s, almost lava lamp, I don't know, mesmerizing light show kind of thing. Let's see here. Stuntman Don sounds appropriate. Thank you. Yeah, I thought I'd go with that one. Bones just died this one. Oh, he did this one. Oh my God, Bones died? Oh, why am I watching this? I need to be. Oh, never mind. He did this one. Okay, yeah. You can piece together what you see with me and catch up with Don because you're always running around during watch-alongs. When did Bones do it? I know this was like a couple days ago. I think I did see him. Was that the most recent episode of The Boneyard? Because I dropped in at the end, and as I recall, it was the movie was already over, and it was in that weird sort of hangout after party thing. Our friend Karen is here from Spirits and Screams. Welcome, Karen. Thank you for popping in and saying hi. Mayanne feels the same exact way I feel about Karen. Didn't you say hi, Bones? Yeah, I did say hi, Bones, but maybe he died in between me and saying hi. Life is fleeting. This movie proves it. So the movie starts off right away with bare feet. Everybody knows Tarantino's got a foot fetish thing, and I think at this point he's kind of playing into it. You know, he's making a joke about, oh, you expect me to do a feet thing? Oh, I'm going to do a feet thing. The credits are all, actually the whole thing is done. If you've never seen the Grindhouse movies, they're a throwback to what it was like to go to a crappy theater in the 70s or the 60s, mainly the 70s. And blaxploitation and some of the other stuff that was going on, a lot of kung fu movies. That's where the Shaw Brothers stuff comes from. Nice. This says edited by Sally Mankey. Her screen credits came up. Sally Mankey passed away, I believe, after this. That was Tarantino's editor for his first several movies. And then after that, I don't know who his current editor is. I know he's been doing the Robert Rodriguez thing where he takes on more and more tasks with the films that he makes. This is the first movie where Tarantino is the cinematographer. So, which makes sense because it's mediocre cinematography. A lot of cool action shots and directing, but the overall like color scheme and composition and stuff is, I mean, we're 5 minutes in, we've seen 2 shots of bare feet. And a booty. How you doing? Let's see here. Where are we at? I've been dead. I'm undead. Yeah, dying's liberating, Bones. I feel you. I've had it before. I've risen from the dead a couple times myself. Our friend Kal-El Daly, Superman is here. I'm the owl specialist. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, they're doing the whole exploitation thing. We've already seen 2 shots of butts. We've seen 2 shots of feet. And now we see old girl in the short shorts who has to pee really bad. So she's holding her crotch as she runs and it looks like she's doing something else. So, yeah, they're really trying to pour on the sex heavy. That's a Roger Corman trick. If you put nudity or sexy stuff up front and then a little bit more around like the 20 to 30 minute mark, and then a little bit more towards the end, people will think it's like filled with sex, but really you've only had like 3 sex scenes. Roger Corman was the master of showing having 2 women who are willing to be topless and turning that into a whole nudie movie somehow. Let's see here. Karen says she freaking loves this movie. Yeah, like I say, it's a departure from Tarantino, but at the same time, it feels like Tarantino. He's often compared, because Quentin's first movies were all crime dramas, even True Romance, which he didn't direct, but then Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, and then Jackie Brown. People just kind of got to think of him as almost like a Scorsese type director. Where it's mostly just criminals being cool guys and you admire the bad guys. So this is a drastic departure. I mean, obviously he did Kill Bill, which is 70s exploitation style, but more glossy and big and polished. This is the other way. It's supposed to look like the film has grain in it. It's supposed to look like there's hairs on the gates. It's supposed to look like the film print has been around to several theaters and has been cut a few times and taped back together. Yeah, I am noticing a lot of the shot compositions are actually kind of really well done, but because of the 70s style jump cut, like I say, everything I just described, the broken print, it's hard to tell, like, get a flow, if you're going to do your first cinematography, this is the movie to do it on, because you can cover up your mistakes by being, I meant to do that. Let's see here. He's all bones now. Get it? Because he's dead. It's a thing. Man, Mrs. Karen's live streams. Yes, our friend Karen also does good live streams. Karen's channel is fantastic. I recommend you check out Spirits and Screams. I met a lot of my friends, a lot of the folks who pop up in this chat have been guests on there. Karen's a very affable person. She's easy to talk to and get along with. So her chats are always good with the people she has on. Well, yeah. Are you Count de Fuck? Yeah, I am Count de Fuck. Good evening. Man, they're coming soon, I promise. Yay. Kal-El says that this is his most underrated movie. Yes, I agree. I think most people would think this or Hateful Eight is probably his worst movie. I like both of them, but this one in particular, it's just got a real, like I say, Brian De Palma vibe to it, but there's a lot going on where, I don't know if you saw X, the Ty West movie, and there's a trilogy with Pearl and then Maxine coming out next. I think it takes a lot from this. Like, I think the whole, women in the 70s kind of doing their sexy thing and, having to going out to the country and, Stuntman Mike has a whole thing where he kind of hates women, but I think he also kind of hates young, pretty women in general, which gives the villain some sort of motivation. Like, Friday the 13th, Jason's motivation is he's like scarred from whatever, his mother being killed, but that's from the whole them neglecting him and stuff. Michael Myers is just crazy for the sake of being crazy. I like the idea that he has no agenda. He's just nuts. But here we see Stuntman Mike. He's like clearly got mental problems, Let's see. Cal says this or Jackie Brown. Yeah, I love Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown is actually mildly hailed by critics in particular, or fans of Tarantino sort of dig it as the cult one to like. I think primarily because it was adapted from a, oh boy, what's his name? I'm already drawing a blank. Elmore Leonard. Jesus Christ, it took me a second. It was adapted from an Elmore Leonard short story. So that's one of Tarantino's only adaptations. I mean, he takes a short story, a novella, and stretches it out. So he adds a bunch of stuff. But I think the adaptation is an interesting thing for him to do. And he also did 4 Rooms. He did a segment of an anthology movie where Tim Roth is a bellboy and is working at a hotel, and the 4 different stories unfold with him connecting it. But nobody ever counts that as a Tarantino movie, even though he directed a quarter of it, Let's see here. Karen's thanking me for saying nice things about her. I can't help it. Karen's awesome. She's the Exorcist expert. I had an Exorcist t-shirt on before I started today's live stream madness. So shout out to you. Another one that doesn't say hi anymore. Hello, Cal. No Santa slaying tonight, Donnie. How do you feel? Oh, yeah, there you go. See, he's already putting a kibosh on the hose. Ladies first, Mayflower, I guess. Oh, you guys, you two. So here we've seen the 3 girls up front, and they're going to pick up a 4th. I think they meet her here. They're at like this biker bar. And while the main woman in the cast, oh boy, what is her name? She's relative unknown. It's Vanessa Ferlito. She does it. She's like kind of the main person. And then her crew is Rosario Dawson. And well, actually, this one up front, we see the original murders. And then later on, when we jump to Tennessee after this one, we'll get to it when they get to it. But we start off with Jungle Julia and her crew. And the Jungle Julia stuff, we feel like she's up and coming. She's trying to be a radio DJ. And we see her billboard, and, she's got a bobblehead. So she's like making her way. So when she dies, it's tragic, right? She has something to live for. She's got a future ahead of her. We've already seen Stuntman Mike's black car drive by and sort of stalk them. So there's this ominous feeling of the black car out there. They do a good job in this. When I was watching Skinamarink, they try to do a similar thing where they lay a filter over the top of it to give it this kind of, degraded film. It looks like the film's been around and it's starting to fade a little bit. Some of the colors are desaturated, and there's hairs all over the gate and grain everywhere and dust on the gate, on the lens, and it's just projected like crap. Every now and then you can see a cigarette burn up in the corner. That's an indication to turn the reels and stuff. So when I was watching Skinamarink, you can tell that one is clearly they're using a computer filter, because it almost runs on like a loop. You start to notice, okay, there's going to be a hair over here, and there's going to be a thing over here. And then a minute later, there's going to be a hair over here and a thing over here. This one, it looks, as if perhaps they'd gone through and put more effort into the mistakes. Let me see here. So the grindhouse thing is supposed to be the old-looking style of these movies. Yeah, like I was saying, it's multiple things that cause a movie to look like this. You shoot it poor, uh, so that means you don't do things like dust off the lens, and you get little black spots where dust lands on the camera lens when you're filming. But then also, film feeds through a gate, and then it gets projected onto, and then you develop the film and you get whatever, right? So if you don't clear the gate with like an air duster or whatever, lots of times hair and dust will get in the film as it feeds through, the camera. So that's how you get like every now and then like a white line, you'll see somewhere or whatever. And then after a film print gets out to the theaters and goes from theater place to theater place, then ends up at a cheap theater after it's been around, by that time people have cut the film or the film's broken. It's had to been taped back together with Scotch tape and stuff. In a digital world we live in now, that's not a thing. So let's see here. Pretty much, man, it's obviously not natural. Shawnee B, what up, sir? Cool, I dig it. Yeah, I don't know if they actually say the specific date. They might have. I have this muted, obviously, so I can watch it. But yeah, it starts off with this first group of girls. It's been a minute since I've seen this. It's a bit of a refresher for me. I think I saw it when it first came out, and then I've caught it a couple times on cable since. I own the DVD. I don't think I've ever upgraded to the Blu-ray. They made a Blu-ray, I can't remember, sometime in the 10s, the 2000 teens, about where they put the two together and they actually, have the whole Grindhouse experience. But originally, this was released in the theater as a double feature with Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror. And then there were trailers shown in between them, fake trailers. So one of them was Thanksgiving, which has now been made into an actual movie. And then also Rob Zombie's Werewolf Women of the SS with Sybil Danning. Everybody loves Sybil Danning. And then what else was in there? I'm drawing a blank. If you remember some of the other ones that were in there, go ahead and put them in the chat or the comments. But one of the things I remember is there was a contest to make your own fake trailer to go for Grindhouse, like an amateur trailer. And in that, one of the ones was Hobo with a Shotgun. And people liked that trailer so much, even though it didn't end up in the movie, they ended up making the real movie with Rutger Hauer. Yeah, this is all very Brian De Palma. We see Stuntman Mike is in his car. And he's got like a big scar on his face and a big scar on his cheek. And when he flips down the visor of his in his deathproof car, you can see he's been stalking these women and has pictures of them taped to the inside or rubber banded to the inside of his sun visor. Yeah, there we see another Jungle Julia billboard. And coming up is a scene that really struck me at the time because it was brand new when it happens. This movie came out in 2007. And there's a scene where I think it's Jungle Julia is trying to, she's got a relationship that they sort of talk about, but you never see. And she's waiting to see if this dude she's into will, show up. And there's like a romantic text scene in it where she's, got her phone and we see her text and then we read his text. And nowadays every movie has a text scene or whatever. But this is the first time I'd ever saw it. Like they play romantic music and they cut to her face, like kind of smiling at the boy she likes has, messaged her and stuff. And it was sort of way ahead of its time. The women in the bar now that are hanging out, they've met a couple boys. One of them is played by Eli Roth. So this is after Tarantino kind of took Roth under his wing. When Cabin Fever came out, Quentin Tarantino was a big fan of it. And Eli Roth and him became buddies right away. And Tarantino's a producer, I think, on Hostel, perhaps. Hostel 1 and 2. Yeah, I dig the overall tone of it. It is very different from the usual Tarantino movie, but it does remind me a lot of Brian De Palma. Like, I think they even use the blowout theme from this. Um, oh, let's see here. Man says she remembers watching one with Jessica Alba. And yeah, that was Machete. That's the other one I forgot about, the classic. Robert Rodriguez did one for Machete with Danny Trejo. And then, of course, they made that into a real movie and a sequel. But we still haven't gotten Machete Kills in Space. I'm waiting for that one, the trilogy. So here's the texting scene. And yeah, like, I mean, this is very almost surrealistic because it's the first time this ever really happens. Look how old her phone is. It's like an old janky Nokia. Um, but yeah, just her reaction and just the sending the text and the time in between getting them and stuff. It's the first time I ever saw this in a movie, and it really became the future of romance. I can't imagine anybody dating now without having this sort of text exchange. Yes, folks. Why you crying? First Machete was good. Second one was a movie. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed that first one a lot, but it did kind of wear out its welcome towards the end. The second one, a different director directed it. I don't think Rodriguez did it. I think that's when he was busy, because I believe he was going to do Predators as well, and then he passed that off to one of his cohorts. That's Eli Roth. Yeah, she remembers him too. Yeah, I have that first pressing Grindhouse Blu-ray that's in the proper order. And Don't is the trailer is my favorite. There's the other one. Yeah, Don't answer the phone. Don't go outside. Don't do yeah. Which is funny because there's a movie called Don't Answer the Phone, and it's like the poster is like this big red word don't, and then you see the phone underneath it. So kind of just taking it to another level. So now Tarantino is the owner of the bar, and he's got his hair all slicked back, and he's got the cowboy shirt on, and they all do a shot, and then he pounds his glass on the table the same way he did in From Dusk Till Dawn. It's like kind of a callback. Yeah, Sean, I would need to get that Grindhouse pressing that you said. That's a dope one. Because You Flower has spikes. Oh, they're talking about, man. I own Hobo with a Shotgun. Sean sent it to me. Yeah, that's one. That's a fun movie, and it's got kind of a similar aesthetic. That one falls closer to Trauma, maybe. It's kind of a Roger Corman Trauma mashup. This, like I say, is more Brian De Palma, blaxploitation kind of thing. Fun movie, man. A little bloody, but Rucker Hauer makes them all pay. Yeah, he's pretty dope. Man, this is cool. Yeah, so here's the first one. She goes outside to have a cigarette, and once again, she starts to see the black car stalking her. I remember when this was coming out, Tarantino was like, "Yeah, I'm going to submit a horror movie to be part of this Grindhouse thing." And people were like, "We've never seen you do a horror movie before. Like, do you have horror chops?" Like, because people associate mainly horror, it's either slasher or ghost, supernatural, and neither one are really Tarantino type movies. So he said, no, it's going to be an untraditional horror movie. And yeah, it's I guess in a certain way, Brian De Palma's Blowout is kind of a horror movie. I mean, there's a serial killer on the loose, and there's all this suspense and stuff. And there she gets a good look at the deathproof car. It's all black with the big skull and crossbones, except the crossbones are lightning on the hood. Yeah, so if you've seen this or are a fan of this or haven't seen this, let me know. Let me know in the chat or the comments. It looks like Mayan is Mayan. Have you seen this before, or you? It seems like this is your first time. Yeah, Tarantino is in this. Oh, I saw a Dame to Die For, but can't remember much of it. Was that Sin City, the second one? Is that what it is? I don't remember. Or is that a Dame to Kill More? Yeah, she says she has not. Well, I apologize that your first time watching this was with me rambling, but like I say, this movie in general, it's fun. I would say this is maybe Tarantino's most fun movie. You know, Inglorious Bastards with the Nazis and all the tension and everything that goes in there. It's not really a fun movie, and Django certainly isn't a fun movie. I mean, the end of Django is fun. The end of Inglorious Bastards is fun. Um, Jackie Brown is right there with being pretty fun, but like Pulp Fiction, the Gimp scene, I wouldn't call that fun. That's traumatizing. Um, Reservoir Dogs is a very it's got a funny parts, but I don't know if it's a fun ride. It's a very crime drama ride. So I'm on commercial break. Tubi hit me with one, but it looks to be a quick one because it's already halfway done. So that tips you off to Tubi's hand there. They showed me the 1 minute one first, and they're going to hit with another 1 minute now. So eventually I'm going to get hit with like a 3-minuter. I know how they do me. So we're at the 22:29 mark. Cigarette machines. There's something I haven't seen in years. Every now and then in Wisconsin, I'll go to an old bar and they'll have the cigarette machine. It's like, oh, snap. There's your nachos bones. Stuntman Mike is now in the bar with them. He was circling like a shark. And then we see the car parked outside, and now we see just a pompadour, a stuntman jacket, nachos being shoveled into a mouth. Even now, he's still blurry and not a frame. So they do a good job of like keeping him hidden. Where is the casting for Stuntman Mike? Tarantino tried to cast John Travolta, Denzel Washington, Willem Dafoe, John Malkovich, Mickey Rourke, that's a wild one, Ron Perlman, Bruce Willis, Cal Penn, and Sylvester Stallone, all in this role. He eventually settled on Kurt Russell because, Kurt Russell's awesome. How do you not? Here's Eli Roth kind of giving his buddy this like, how to describe it. One dude is always kind of a half a like pressuresome creep, and that's the dude that always gets lucky with women. And then there's the nice guy who never gets lucky to the women. So the pressuresome creep always has to explain to the nice guy, quit being so nice. Women don't like that, yada, yada, yada. So they've cast Eli Roth as the douchebag, fake ladies man kind of guy. And they're Eli Roth and his buddy are kind of ragging on Stuntman Mike. We still haven't got a good look at him. He's got a kind of a NASCAR jacket with a bunch of like patches all over it, and the big one is icy hot. So, man says, isn't Sin City similar to this? I don't know. I'm lost. Yeah, Sin City is done by Robert Rodriguez. Well, it's a Frank Miller story, but Robert Rodriguez directed that, and then Quentin Tarantino also was a guest director on Sin City. He did the section where Clive Owen murders a guy, and he at one point he says like, "I'm so cool, I'm Elvis," and that's kind of the tip off that's Tarantino directing. But he directs maybe like 10 minutes of that movie, and then the sequel, A Dame to Kill For, I believe Rodriguez directed that one. But the first Sin City is very good. The second one, eh. I like the because a lot of his movies up early on were very man-centric. That's why part of the reason he did Jackie Brown is it's about a female lead. And in the Jackie Brown, Rum Punch, I believe it was called when it was a novella. That woman is like a blonde lady. Like I think Michelle Pfeiffer was up. They wanted her to play her, Jackie Brown, and Tarantino is the one that changed her to a black woman. That was kind of like his progressive way. But even then, everybody has a crush on Pam Grier. Like she's kind of super amazing. So Here's where Stuntman Mike, we finally get a look at him. And he's talking with Rose McGowan, and she's in Planet Terror as the machine gun lady, the woman who gets her leg cut off and she has a machine gun attached to it. So she turns up in both movies if you watch the double feature. A lot of people turn up in both movies. Tarantino does. I don't know. Is Eli Roth in Planet Terror? I don't remember. Oh, let's see here. See, and Rose whatever is in this. Yeah, exactly. Hello, Wisconsin. Man says hello to you. That's why I'm thinking they're all related. Yeah, exactly. Tarantino and Rodriguez all work together over and over again. They Tarantino released Reservoir Dogs and really got a claim for it by putting it um, uh, in a bunch of like film festivals, like Sundance Film Festival and a bunch of other things like that. And Robert Rodriguez put out El Mariachi around the same time. So they would end up like bumping into each other at all these different film festivals, and they became pals. And later on, Rodriguez directs the Tarantino script for From Dusk Till Dawn, and they really became buddies then. That's when they became super tight. And I mentioned Four Rooms earlier. Robert Rodriguez directs one of the 4 chapters of Four Rooms, so they collaborate there. Um, and then Kill Bill, part of the score, I believe, was written by Robert Rodriguez. He charged him $1 for it, famously, because you have to get paid for the Screen Guild or whatever. So yeah, most of the Kill Bill score is from Robert Rodriguez. And then yeah, they collaborated on this. There were these real cool T-shirts when this came out. They looked like AC/DC, but they said QT with the lightning bolt RR. So I often kind of equate the two of them. Like I say, they worked on Sin City together. And okay, so there's another butt shot, keeping the exploitation alive. That's at the 28:31 mark. So there you go. You see what I mean? You put booties and feet and all that up front, and then you know about a half hour in, you give us some more butt and make it kind of sexy. But then now after this, there's gonna go into a bunch of like drama where there's no sex stuff for a while. So it's yeah, the old Roger Corman plan. I feel like here's the scene where the girl plays a song on the jukebox, then she kind of dance around all sexily, sexy-ish, whatever. Um, and we kind of get the feeling that it's almost like Salma Hayek and From Dusk Till Dawn. You know, it's all hips and legs, and so now she's distracted by Stuntman Mike. She knows something's wrong. Something about him just doesn't sit right. Yeah, I dig the overall concept of this movie because basically the film itself is kind of self-referential, which is what I think is cool about it. It's a movie about the killer is kind of gone crazy. He's a stunt man and he's moved into the world of CGI. So you don't need to have all these fancy stunts and tricks and stuff anymore because, you know, nowadays we have CGI. So it's this disenfranchised worker, like someone whose job is being phased out. And that sort of made him crazy and violent, right? Um, and then the movie itself has no CGI. It's all like stunt people work. It's all actual folks on the front of a car or in cars going fast and stuff. A lot of the filming of it was copied from the way George Miller, I think his name is the guy who did the Road Warrior movies, Mad Max and the original ones and stuff, Fury Road as well. So if you watch the making of stuff from Mad Max, you can get a lot of ideas of how you put one car with a camera in front of another car, and you can kind of speed up or slow down, and you can have things go around. Man says From Dusk Till Dawn is so fun. Yeah, I agree. Sean is doing Kill Bill's movies coming soon. Yeah, both of those are fantastic. I like one better than two, but I think they both have their merits for sure. I think it's sensually instead of sexually or sexy-ish, sexily. Um, so let's see here. Now there's this kind of cool moment where the cool chicks show up at the bar and Tarantino gives them a hug and they kind of come over and cock block Stuntman Mike from hollering at Rose McGowan. And they go out to the porch and they're smoking out of an old school metal pipe, the kind with the little screw on top and stuff. So you see him out there getting high, and Stuntman Mike wanders up and inserts himself into the conversation. If you've ever been like a party person and been out to places and hung out in groups, there's always the one weird guy that just shows up. Like, who's this dude? I don't know. So he just started hanging out and talking. Stuntman Mike McKay. There you go. My friends and I are trying to get our weed on. That's a good way to describe it. But Stuntman Mike doesn't partake. He doesn't get drunk. He says that earlier. He's a teetotaler. So obviously he's not going to get smoky either because he's got to have his wits about him to perform his death-proof stunts. Kurt Russell with the big Elvis pompadour is quite a look. Kurt Russell may have the best hair in movie history. It's possible. It's very possible. I don't know if I've ever seen a better head of hair. The Thing is like a third of the amazing part about that movie is Kurt Russell's hair and beard. And this is something where Stuntman Mike explains how he was on various TV shows. He was on The Virginian, and then did a couple of episodes of Vegas and some other stuff like that. And these are all, there you go. He was the double for Gary Clark in The Virginians. And then that show turned into Men of Shiloh with Lee Majors, and I doubled for him. And then specialized mostly in car stunts. Yeah, so he's kind of explaining his horror movie his stuntman background. I love the way he looks in The Thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's part of the appeal of The Thing is how cool Kurt Russell looks. I've never seen anybody look cooler in a sombrero. You know what I mean? So that's a hard look to pull off, but he does it. Yeah, hard not to. That was kind of interesting. There was a mistake in the captioning. They spelled was O-E-S. Actually, I think it was supposed to be one. So yeah, the whole thing with Stuntman Mike being a stuntman and him being disenfranchised by the advent of CGI and all that. That also plays itself out in real life in the movie. Because the reason Tarantino thought of this whole thing and kind of like developed the whole plot and stuff was he'd come off of working on Kill Bill 1 and 2. And Uma Thurman's stunt double was this woman, Zoe Bell. And she was primarily the stunt woman on Xena, the warrior princess, the old TV show. So she was Uma Thurman's stunt double for Kill Bill. And he enjoyed working with her so much that he ended up having the writing a movie basically based on her skill set. So all the shots of her attached to the car and riding on the hood, with the kind of strapped with the leather belts and stuff, all that's just because he knew she could do awesome stuff. Man has to watch The Thing again soon. Yes, you do. It's fantastic. Echo Zero Cha 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 Cha. Welcome, Echo. Tacos, my friend. And Mayan says Echo. And Echo says, hello, Mustard May. Echo, long time no see for this one, huh? When did you watch this? Like Thursday night or something, whatever the Boneyard was? But like I said, I came in late for your guys' watching of this. I think the movie was all wrapped up when I showed up. Yeah, like I say, I've only seen this a handful of times, and watching it now, I'm really enjoying the performances. Like all the acting is very slow. Um, Kurt Russell in particular, just kind of like is haunting. But it's hard to be haunting with those dimples, I say. Cha cha, baby. Yeah. Um, so there he's explaining how he's seen her around and because he has been stalking her the whole movie. But this, we just saw another scene, the text scene, where she's texting old boy back and forth that she's got the crush on and trying to hook up with. She texted him, "You're an asshole," or "You're a asshole." But that also felt very real at the time. I'm surprised this woman didn't get a bigger career. Vanessa Fertito. Ferlito. Exactly. See, I can't even get her name right. She was in, what do I know her from? Damn little. Yeah, her career isn't, I mean, it's all right, but lots. She was in Spider-Man 2. She was in some Sopranos. She was in the 25th Hour. She was in Man of the House with Chevy Chase. Or no, with Tommy Lee Jones. Never mind. She, after Death Proof, Medea Goes to Jail was like her biggest one. Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, the sequel to Wall Street that nobody really liked. Stand Up Guys. And that's it. Just a bunch of TV. So that's weird. She never had more of a career. She holds the screen well. You know what I mean? I think every time they cut to her, she's very pretty. You know, she's got a look about her and she acts cool. She got kind of a Debbie Mazar thing going on. I don't know. She looks a lot like Rose McGowan. Rose McGowan in this one, they have her with the blonde hair, so you don't confuse her with the character she's playing in Death Proof or Planet Terror. I'm sorry. I'm going to do that over and over again. Yeah, this is all very good. Like even now, just reading the dialogue and watching their facial expressions and stuff. So it's very captivating. Yeah. So he wins a bet with her and he gets a lap dance. And like I said, the lap dance scene is very much like from Dusk Till Dawn. I think he was trying to recreate that moment. And there she is, back to the booty shaking. Is this Down in Mexico? I think the song is here. The soundtrack to this is another banging soundtrack from Tarantino. All of his movies, he knows the old good songs. Yeah, there you go. Down in Mexicali. He wears a red bandana and a honky tonk down in Mexico. Yeah, this Jackie Brown, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, they all just have even Kill Bill with the 5 6 7 8s and that song. Woo 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 woo. Like yeah, he just always has awesome music. His music really fuels it when he doesn't, and whenever he does a popular song that you might know, he does a cover of it. So the stuff that he does do in the movies, he really knows his music, I should say. Once again, more feet. Tarantino loves some feet, man. Woo. Not really a feet guy myself. Not anti-feet, just not pro feet. What I want to know is when are we watching The Raid? We do need to watch The Raid. Russell is here, our friend. Hey, Big Don Echo. Yeah, so Russell is here. Hobo with a Shotgun, I have May. Let's see here. She's in Griselda on Netflix. Oh, Vanessa Ferlito. Yeah, I still haven't seen Griselda. Cocaine Cowboys is a fantastic documentary, And then in there they talk about Griselda Blanco, and then in the sequel, I think that one's called the something Godmother or whatever. So Cocaine Cowboys 2 is all about Griselda Blanco, but I still haven't seen the uh, Sofia Vergara. Is that who plays her in the Netflix one? But I enjoyed all those Narcos shows. At least Narcos season 1 I liked a lot. So it makes me think I would like Griselda. And there she's got her stomach's like she's not fat. She's got a pot, like kind of in Pulp Fiction, how he says it's, if a man has a pot belly, he looks like a gorilla. But if a woman has a little bit of a belly, like Madonna in the Lucky Star video, it's pretty. So that's like her kind of look. You know, she's wearing the midriff shirt, even though she's got a little bit of a belly, but it's kind of pretty. It's kind of sexy. She looks healthy. And I got a commercial. What's going on with the chat? Let's see here. Cool Russell. Hey man, love. How was the fam today? Chuck. Oh, he's calling her Chuck again. Yeah, our boy Russell and Mayanne were both with us on our viewing of Aliens on Sean's channel. Like I say, I've been streaming my ass off. Much like when I have my pants off on Into House, I'm just overexposed. 2 hours last night, 2 hours this afternoon, 3 hours tonight, 2 hours now. Tomorrow afternoon, I go on Video Tasty's channel and we're watching Remo Williams. There's another 2 hours. Tomorrow night, Batman 89 with my boy Larry. Time yet undetermined. But yeah, I think I'm overexposed. I'm about to get canceled. I'm the new Sam Worthington. I'm in too much stuff. So we're at the 42:10 mark now. The lap dance is wrapped up. The bar's closing. Everybody's drunk and fun. And here's where he gives Rose McGowan a ride home, and I think she gets her face ripped off, as I recall. And Jungle Julia calls Stuntman Mike Cannonball Run. She's like, looking good, Cannonball Run. That's pretty funny. That's a funny joke. There, Rose McGowan comes back to tell the girls, she's like, I'm not going to F him. And then he's like, I can hear you. What is the car? What is Stuntman Mike's car? Tarantino says that he wanted to create a slasher film featuring a deranged stuntman who stalks, murders sexy young women in his death-proof car. He realized he couldn't do a straight slasher film because, the exception of women in prison films, there's no other genre quite as rigid. And if you break that up, you aren't really doing it anymore. It's ignoranic. Wow, I've never heard that word before. So I realized, let me take the structure of the slasher film and just do what I do. My version is going to be effed up and disjointed, but it seemingly uses the structure of a slasher film, hopefully against you. Yeah, I feel like there is a slasher film element, obviously, because it's groups of women being stalked by this man, you know, and we see them get picked off or whatever. It's strange how this movie's cut in half. We'll double check where the time falls when we meet the next set of women. Because like I say, there's this first group and then he finishes them off. And then it goes to Tennessee where we jump in. And Tennessee's important because that's where Tarantino lived for a while. I think his mom lived in LA and he grew up in, around Hollywood. That's why he loves it. But then his father lived in Tennessee, I think it was, or maybe it was the other way around, whatever. So he goes to Tennessee for a while, and that like influences a bunch of his Southern influences. And then he just disliked being country life and moved back to LA. So Rose McGowan gets in the death-proof car, It's made for stuntmen, right? So it's deathproof, which is like apparently Robert Rodriguez picked out the name when he heard this was about a guy who drives a death-proof car. He's like, well, you need to call it death-proof. That sounds perfect. And there, Kurt Russell breaks the fourth wall. He's getting in his car to take Rose McGowan off, and he's going to dispatch of her, and then he's going to turn around and go back after the girls. So we see him smoking his cigarette, and he throws it away, and he kind of turns and looks at the camera like. So now here, Stuntman Mike starts to turn creepy. And he tells her, he's like, which way do you need to go, left or right? And she's like, left. And he's like, oh, that's good, because we have to both go left, because you didn't have to go left. I'd have to kill you now. But now, as it stands, you can I can play with you a little bit. So she's, because of the way the car is designed, it's supposed to be for a stuntman. So his seat is like all seat belts and like rocket chair, and there's all this like plexiglass, unbreakable glass around him and stuff like they have at the bank. But her seat has no seat belt, and it's like a stool almost. So when he starts spinning around the car and shaking her up, she just starts banging against the inside of it. That's funny that at the time this was made, Robert Rodriguez was dating Rose McGowan. Um, that's why she's the lead in Planet Terror. But she was apparently kind of talked to him about Harvey Weinstein, because he's the executive producer of this. And Rose McGowan says, Harvey Weinstein was extra creepy towards me. And then apparently Robert Rodriguez tried to like protect her from it the same way Brad Pitt did with Gwyneth Paltrow. A bunch of these stories came out later on about what a creep Harvey Weinstein was, and all the women he was trying to, leverage power over for sex. And yeah, supposedly Robert Rodriguez kind of protected her, as it were. Even now, when she goes on and on about how bad Hollywood is, I think she usually leaves him out of it. I like Kurt Russell as a villain, because I think one of the only other times he's really a villain is like Tequila Sunrise. Even there, he's kind of a good guy. He's a cop, but he's portrayed as the villain. So here he says a bunch of creepy stuff to her and starts slamming her around inside the car. Now her nose is all broken and she's covered with blood. So now he's going after the other car. He's going to turn back around and go get them and take them out. Now to catch me my other girlfriends. All the streets are wetted down. That's a movie trope. You see it in a lot of movies. Regular black pavement or cement just is very dull and flat looking when it's on screen. But when you hose down a street, suddenly all of the lights reflect off the surface. So in movies, like 9 out of 10 times, if they're driving around at night, it's going to be wet roads. So there's, of course, another foot shot, because Tarantino has to cram that down our throat. But they're having a discussion about Hold Tight with Dave D, Dozy, Beaky, Mick, and Titch, which is very funny. The Hold Tight song as they're being attacked in a car, But the music, the pounding rock and roll soundtrack while they're being terrorized works really well. And it builds, the song itself kind of builds the same way the tension does. Where are we on the track? Let's see here. Man, it's telling him everything's good to Russell. Kids are sleeping, husband's working, I'm here. Tarantino has great taste in music, just like us. Yeah. Like I say, that's one of the strengths of his film is People get on him for what he steals or borrows. Everybody borrows. Spielberg borrows. Everybody borrows, or reappropriates to be best. If you just redo what somebody else did shot for shot and it looks exactly the same, you suck. But if you take something cool that somebody did and then you sort of do it your way, that's cool. So Tarantino has a tendency to pick from really cool stuff. I think on Entourage, they made the joke that he only steals from the best. Russell, have no fear. Russell is here, have no fear. Quiet time? Man says, yes, it's me time. Yeah, I feel you. Griselda was good. Yeah, like I said, I kind of know her story because of the Cocaine Cowboys documentary stuff, but like she's basically like just the head kingpin of the cocaine mob, and she murders a bunch of people. But yeah, I haven't got around to that. I used to have a pot-belly pig that liked day-old donuts. I want some pot. You want some pot? No, like a pot belly. Fabian, she haunts me forever. There's not such thing as too much Don. Oh, Mayanne, you sweetheart. Hey, Jason. Yo. How's it going? The Ginger Ninja in the house. Woo! Woo. So there was a head-on collision. They're driving down oh my God. We see it from over and over again. Holy shit. Whew. This is brutal. I forgot how brutal it was up close because it's haunting. The ladies group, the Jungle Julia and her crew, they're riding down the road listening to music, all happy. Jungle Julia's got her foot out the window. You know, it's all very Tarantino. And then out of nowhere, Stuntman Mike just plows into him head on. And they show it one view where the girl in the back who isn't wearing the seatbelt goes flying out the window and just tumbles up and slams down on the street. It's brutal. But then they replay the same shot from a different angle, and we see Jungle Julia and how she loses a leg and all this blood goes everywhere. And then we see what happens to old girl, what's her name? I keep forgetting. Vanessa Ferlito. The Stuntman Mike's car drives over the top of the car there, and one of the wheels rubs over her face and takes her face off. So extra brutal. And then this is a tie-in to a bunch of other Tarantino stuff. Michael Parks shows up as the sheriff. He's also the sheriff From Dusk Till Dawn, and he's also the sheriff in Kill Bill. So he keeps playing the same role over again. Michael Parks is amazing. If you've ever seen From Dusk Till Dawn, that little opening monologue where him and John Hawk are in the convenience store having a discussion, he's great. What is the name of the doctor? I forget her name. But anyways, the doctor who informs the police about the accident and everything that went along with it, that's the same doctor from Planet Terror, the other half of this Grindhouse double feature. So she plays two roles in this too. There's a lot of crossover between the two films, which kind of helps create continuity. Even this, when they're walking through the hallways of the hospital, it feels a lot like when Elle Driver, Daryl Hannah, was in walking through the hallway with that, the Twisted Nerve, I think it's called, with the whistling song. And she's got the eye patch with the cross over it, dressed as a nurse. Where were we with the chat as these two dudes do exposition? Bones just did this one the other day. Yeah, I know. I was mad I missed it with you guys. Maybe he watched it for the same reason I did. I watched it because it's going away from Tubi in 4 days. So I've had it in my queue to watch forever. And since I've been cranking out the Tarantino ones every now and then, I thought this would be a nice departure. Last night we did Wrath of Khan. Well, actually 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago, we did Watchmen, and then we did King Kong, and then we did Wrath of Khan. And then today I had 2 hours talking about aliens with Larry, and then another 3 hours of talking aliens with Sean, Larry, and Texas Hardcore. So I needed something less sci-fi. I needed something more grounded in reality, even though this isn't grounded in reality. So here he's the one cop is explaining to the other cop. I believe this is supposed to be the father and son cop sheriff duo. And he's explaining to him, how this is all going down and how the jury won't ever convict him because it just looks like a driving accident, not an actual murder because it happened with a car. If you hit somebody with a car, that's murder. If you crash into somebody with a car, I mean, the worst you can get is like manslaughter. And that's kind of the plot later on. He uses this to escape the punishment and then shows up in Tennessee, and that's where we meet the next group of women that he goes after. Man, welcomes Ginger. Good day, Russell. He says, calls him Bruce. Echo welcomes Jason. Good day, Jason. Bruce. Man wants to know who's Bruce. We are all Bruce. I'm assuming these are Bruce Lee references. Is that a British parsnip or whatever slang you have over there? Stuntman Bruce. Bruce Banner, Bruce Lee, Bruce Banner, Bruce the stripper for the blind. This is Bruce is the new hoe, really, is what's going on here. Boss man Bruce, Bruce the Boss, born in the USA. I just made that one up. Bruce the Ninja. Yeah, Bruce is the new hoe. Bruce is taking over my screen. Russell was watching Monty Python. The sketch was all the Aussies are called Bruce. Ah, got ya. I wasn't familiar with that. I don't think I've ever seen that Python sketch, but that's funny concept that every Australian person is named Bruce. Kurt Russell first started an episode of Lost in Space. Yeah, he's a little kid actor. See, that's kind of the weird thing about Kurt Russell. He's basically like Zac Efron, like a very similar comparison. He's a Disney kid. He started off as like, doing Disney movies as a little kid. He was the computer that wore tennis shoes. Oh God, he was in a baseball movie. I can't remember which one that one was. So by the time he does the Carpenter stuff in the late 70s, early 80s with Escape from New York and then The Thing and stuff, they also did, Kurt Russell played Elvis in an Elvis made-for-TV movie with John Carpenter directed. So Carpenter was like kind of brought Kurt Russell back. He had faded away. He was just nothing but like handsome young Disney teen actor guy. So now, as a man, Carpenter starts using him and reinvigorates his career. That's why Carpenter and Kurt Russell are so tight. The same way Tarantino brought Travolta back is the way Carpenter brought Kurt Russell back. So now we meet the new set of women, and it's in black and white to kind of give us a feel that something different is going on from, to show that there's a jump in time. We've gone a little bit weird. And here's Rosario Dawson and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And they're going to go pick up Zoe at the airport. And Zoe is playing basically herself, I guess, Zoe Bell. And it's kind of cool the way they do it. Like they're sort of setting up that he has a type, like, because this group looks very similar to the last group. The Rosario Dawson and Jungle Julia and the Mary Elizabeth Winstead cheerleader character is like the girl who gets tossed out in the back with no seat belt and all that. She's almost like the Rose McGowan character, Redux. So they're at the convenience store, and we're watching it from like the point of view we don't understand. Like it's visually it's Stuntman Mike's point of view, but you don't really notice it until he looks across the hood of his car and you see that duck smoking a cigar, that Howard the Duck looking hood. Let's see here. So we are all Bruce. Yes, we are. Bruce, this Echo will be right back. He has to drop the kids off at the pool. Oh, I know what you mean. Have a good one. Karen says, Echo Bruce. Bruce Russell. So many Bruces. Karen's welcoming Jake's. Oh, LOL. So now May is even overwhelmed by these by the Bruce horde. If I ever saw a post on YouTube, I would never have been here. If I never saw a post on YouTube, I never would have been here. Hey, Russell. This car crash scene was done so well. It's brutal the way each person is featured in the car. Yeah, I really dig that. The way they show it one view and we see that murder, and then they replay it again and we see the other murder. Yeah, here Rosario Dawson has her bare feet outside of the window and kind of like I say, reminding him of the way Jungle Julia looked. And it's all just an excuse for Tarantino to film feet. Yeah, this is all super creepy. She's got her feet out the window and he comes walking up and like starts rubbing on her toes and caressing her feet. And then he's almost about to lick her feet when she wakes up. And yeah, gross. It's so strange that this is all still in black and white. I would have thought they would have faded out to color by now. Let's see where we're at with the timestamp. 1 hour minute. So yeah, by the time the second, pretty much at the midway point is when we flip over to the second story. So that's, yeah, the screenwriting is following the traditional math. And there's an advertisement for a movie called Potheads 2. Yeah, this is all weird. Everybody drives like classic cars and they all dress in classic, like, 70s throwback clothes. And it all looks very dated Americana. But it's taking place now. Like they're drinking Red Bull, they're texting. Here, she's like, I need to go hit up the ATM real quick and stuff. So it's kind of oddball. Like it lives in a weird, I don't know, timeless period. Yeah, this is all okay. So now, are we starting to fade into color yet? Rosario Dawson's out, like sitting on the hood, smoking a cigarette, and she's got the cowboy boots on, and just sort of staring off at the sun. Being a pretty chick on a car. And it's very just like the whole reason is just so she can notice Stuntman Mike, but they really linger on a lot of her shots. Like the camera almost stalks her. Oh, let's see where we're at with the chat here. It's spirits and Bruce to you, sir. Speaking of spirits, I need to get on that myself. See you later, Echo. Echo's dropping some business. Oh, LOL, man. Hey, spirits. Let's see here. May, you're catching on. LOL, yeah, that's the whole Bruce thing. Is it Bruce and Screams, man? Oh, there you go. Maybe. Love it, Ninja. Those cars, though, wicked. Yeah, the cars in this are awesome. Okay, so I looked away, and now we're back in its color. And that's what I was wondering. What they clearly used the black and white to show, like, okay, here's the first half of the movie, and it's in color, and then after the restart, it begins in black and white. Everybody's got flip phones, so you can tell it was made in 2007. Mayan's getting sleepy. Oh, hang in there, Mayan. Stay up forever. Isn't that what Lamonia told you? Stay up forever. With the crash test dummies. Do you prefer Deathproof over Planet Terror or vice versa? And anyone in the chat. I personally prefer this over Planet Terror. Planet Terror, I feel like this is an homage to De Palma, and Planet Terror is an homage to a Carpenter. It's got a lot of the Carpenter musical score stings and stuff. And I'm a big Carpenter dork, so I would think I would actually like Planet Terror more. But Planet Terror's got a lot of like disjointed plotting to it. Like it's, about, oh God, I can't remember that guy's name. Freddie something, not Freddie Prinze, but a different one. He plays Rose McGowan's boyfriend, and there's the whole thing with the barbecue shack, and there's the subplot with the doctor, the Josh Brolin thing, and it all ends up playing into like a zombie movie, and then the zombie movie ends up with Rose McGowan's leg getting cut off and her having a machine gun. See what I mean? There's just too much as opposed to this, where it's like, no, a car kills people, and then some other women get in a car, and the car tries to kill them. You know, the simplicity of the story really works well. But I think they both just wanted to get, you know, their favorite grindhousey stuff in there. You know, it's like, oh, I remember this and I remember that, and these movies always had that. And but I do enjoy Planet Terror a lot, though. And it's cool when Bruce Willis shows up. Spoiler alert. He's got like a secret cameo. I think I will catch you later tonight with Batman 89. My eyes are hurting. All right, man. You sleep well. Yeah, please do drop by. We'll see what how that turns out. I don't know if it'll be late or early or whatever. We'll see. We're going to work on my guy Larry's sleep schedule. You're coming outside while I smoke some hash? Oh, I don't know about that. Man's already asleep. Oh, BK Man, you're all out of TP. Oh, man. Echo went and pooped at Mayan's house. Man, go flush that. You know he didn't flush. They were great live streams. Oh, thank you. Both top tier, but I personally like Death Proof a wee bit more. Yeah, I agree. All right, so we're on a commercial now. Take care, Bruce. You know, now that we're Brucing everybody. Night, man. Yes, good night, Queen Man. We love you. Y'all Bruces have a great night. Much love and Team Owl. Team May. Girl. Good night, Mayan. Party time, Mayan is gone. Break out the Chucky wine. It was from Monty Python's Live at the Hollywood Bowl. Okay, that's why. I have seen Monty Python at the Hollywood Bowl, but I don't remember the Bruce thing. That's pretty funny. The transition to color is amazing here. It really packs a punch to the scene. When is Batman 89 with Michael Keaton? Larry is going to be doing it with me, so he has to see what he has going on tomorrow. And then whenever he's available. As you know, I like to do these late at night, so I'm up when everybody else is off. But when some of my folks who come on as guests, that we have to keep regular schedules for them. So probably be a little bit earlier in the night, maybe 10 or 9 Central Time. I don't know. Jason says Rosario with the hard eyes. Yeah, I agree. She's hubba hubba. I was on a live stream channel for the first time with an Aussie girl doing Google Maps in Canada, going to her channel, and we all talk places in Ontario and Canada. People send her Canadian stuff. Wow, that's crazy. I've never seen that one. Interesting. Look at you branching out, Russell. I started the Bruce name thing. Monty Python did, but you brought it back. Planet Terror for me, it's just a crazy ride of blood, guts, and action. Okay, so Ginger likes likes Planet Terror more. Like I say, I like them both. I think as a double feature, they really work well. So now we're back to the movie. My commercial's over. That was a quickie commercial. That was a 30-seconder, I think. And they've picked up Zoe Bell from the airport, and they're all just kind of, being silly girls on spring break kind of thing. They're dancing and doing handstands and just laughing up a storm. And we're watching them via stalker cam. You can see someone's taking pictures of them. And we know Stuntman Mike, that's his MO, is get the pictures and then put them on the inside of his hood or his sun visor. Russell says Planet Terror is better. Pugwell is here. Hey, JK, Russell, Echo, Man, the crew, of course, the man himself, Quentin Tarantino. Oh, look at you. Wow, that was nice. That was wordplay. Everybody's welcoming Matt. Yes, if you're not familiar with my friend Matt, he is fantastico. Hey, Puggy. Man couldn't hang. Yeah, get some sleep, hater gator. Ginger Ninja, is that you? Ginge, is that you? Ginge? Send a YouTube post so I won't forget. All right, yeah, I'll be sure to either put some sort of community tab post or whatever, but most likely you'll just notice the big Batman symbol on the thumbnail. Puggy Smalls, what up, baby? I did a Tarantino stream yesterday, which didn't work due to StreamYard canceling noise by adding noise. Wow, well, that is absolutely terrible. What Tarantino stream did you do? Was it well, if you didn't do it, it was a StreamYard was being a jerk. But what were you up to there? Yeah, earlier on Sean's channel when Larry and I were on Cinephile Sanity watching Aliens, I got mine froze up several times. I don't know if it was 4 screens plus the chat or what, but somehow my computer processor kept like freezing up. So yeah, I got kicked out of the stream 2 or 3 times, but that was all computer issues on my end, I'm pretty sure. Hey Cal, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Superman. There's the fist pound. Zoe Bell, the Kiwi ass kicker. Yeah. She thanks for bringing up that she's New Zealand. They originally, like I said, her big break, I think, was being the stunt woman or the stunt double for Xena Warrior Princess. Lucy Lawless, I think was her name. And later on, she was in that show was filmed primarily in New Zealand to keep it cheap and to have the scenery, the forest scenery available. But she was the stunt double for Uma in Kill Bill. And then her and Quentin just became like buddies. And he's like, I want to write a movie for you. You know, she's spent her whole career being behind, you know, like not noticed. Her face isn't there. You know, she's a stunt double. So for her to actually be kind of almost a lead is like a big breakthrough, you know. She's got a lot of charm and charisma. She's got that weird, like, what's it called? Labrum or whatever thing, tattoo, I don't know, or a piercing. Oh, let's see here. Zoe Bell, the Kiwi ass kicker. Kal-El gives another fist bump. No way, deathproof is better. See, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good question you raised, Jason. I think a lot of people would be divided. I think you could ask 10 people and you would get 5 deathproof and 5 planet terror. Everybody's mad about StreamYard messing up Pug's stream. Yeah, Matt is a fun guy. So yeah, the idea that anything is standing in between Matt's content and us, I'm not happy with StreamYard either. Russell says, Cal, that's fine. Yeah, see, that's one of the things I love about movies. Like with sports, it used to be sports were okay, but it got crazy too. So with politics and sports, my opinion is my opinion. If you have a different opinion, you're wrong. You know what I mean? Like there is no, well, there's lots of room for us to think and this or that, or we should try to find common ground. If somebody says, you know, they liked The Last Jedi and I hate The Last Jedi, it's like, yeah, we each got our own thing. I don't really put that on you as a person for what you like, you know? I've always been like that with food too. Like people will be like, "Oh, you like ketchup on a hot dog or whatever?" Everybody knows you can only eat it with mustard. Ketchup people are gross, you know. Or, "Oh, you have a Droid? I have an iPhone. iPhone is better." You know, people will divide up into anything. But movies is one of the last frontier where folks are just like, "Hey, agree to disagree." Or my favorite thing is when you're just like, "You know what? I'll have to rewatch that one," because that just settles the argument and everybody goes away happy. But every other argument in life, everybody wants to stab each other. So now the girls are just in the car being girls, just talking about, you know, boys they're messing around with, and you know, they're talking about life on movie sets and a variety of other things, and it's all just like character building. You know, we're spending time with them while they're riding around, and we feel like we're hanging out with them and getting to know them. You know, and that way it's the same old horror movie thing. How am I supposed to care about you when bad stuff happens? You know, there needs to be some sort of first act that makes me care who you are and what you got going on. What are you into? Oh, I don't want to see her die. She's cool, you know? So we're just riding around in this red leather car, just shooting the crap with these women. Oh, where are we? Pugwall says, yeah, tribalism sucks. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's one of the reasons I love the movie community is when folks are allowed to play nice. It's one of the last places they're allowed to play nice. Good shepherders or sheep herders, ref Russ. Good call on Lucy, JK. Russ had no fuss. He was fine with it. Lucy Lawless. Yeah, that's what I mean with the no fuss. That's what I'm saying. The movie disagreements are civil. That's what I love about it. Some people are like that with movies, though. If you like a movie and they don't, they will let you know. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's where the parachute of, well, I'll have to give that. I'll have to rewatch that then. Maybe you saw something I didn't. But in general, if people are that crazy about stuff that really doesn't matter, that's totally opinions, that's a good red flag for them. It's like, oh, you're not right. Pineapple pizza, pizza people shaking my head. See what I mean? There's one. I actually like pineapple pizza. I don't mind it. I never order it, but whenever it's the one available, I have a piece of it just as a novelty. Love me some pineapple pizza. Ketchup on Frank's is the ultimate sin. See what I mean? I never even gave that one a thought until like maybe 10 years ago. Folks got real divided over mustard versus ketchup. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Ketchup must have like abused some people when they were kids or something. A lot of folks have strong feelings about ketchup. Like, don't you dare put ketchup on a steak. Like, I'm not eating it. They are. What do I care what they put on it? Put salsa on that shit for all I care. Put whipped cream on it. I don't care. It's a great tool to keep us from focusing on helping each other and noticing the real bad folks. Look at you getting deep about tribalism. I like it. Oh, speaking of getting deep, it's Jim. He's lurking. He's lurking. No, he's not back there. All right. Got to make sure. Jim be lurking. Jim be lurking. If Jim comes through this door right here at any second, I wouldn't be surprised. Cal says no regarding the pineapple pizza. Yeah, see, that's one with food. It's like, why do you care what other people eat? You know what I mean? Like, it's never bothered me. The stuff like that. Now, politics, I understand because that's usually philosophy and how we deal with one another. But like sports teams, like sometimes I'll be walking down the street in a Packer sweatshirt and somebody will drive by and be like, Packers suck, Bears rule. It's like, thank you for telling me that, stranger. That means nothing to me other than some people are really stupid. Jim. Hey, Echo. Yeah, I had to let Ginger know prophecy movies are good. I like the first one. I don't know if I've seen any prophecy movies after that. The one with Christopher Walken, is that the one? Love films good and bad. Yeah, that's kind of how I am, Russell. I find merit in pretty much everything. I had a great comment on my Marlon Brando video calling me out because I liked him. Not sure the intention, as I named it based on him being my favorite actor. Why would somebody call you out for liking Marlon Brando? Brando, I mean, I don't love him the way a lot of people do, but he's, you know, I don't love Michael Jordan the way a lot of people do, and I don't think he's a bad. You know what I mean? I know Marlon Brando's a very good actor. He just approaches it from a very different way. But a lot of modern actors credit Brando, you know, with the way they go about it. Sean Penn and a bunch of other people, like Val Kilmer, I think, was a big Brando devotee. Kind of that what's it called, Meisner, the you know, inhabiting the role. You basically just move into the character you're playing and live your life as that. Method acting, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Let's see here. Hey, Jim Echo, glad to see you. Hello, Pugwall. Russell says he's his own critic. Yeah, their own critic. Yeah, I agree. Because you're the one that's got to watch it. You're the one that's got to deal with it. So if you're put in a position where you feel like you have to lift a movie up so you don't hurt somebody else's feelings, I mean, it's their own insecurities. He will bring coffee. So yeah, when he comes in through this door, Jim will have coffee with him. I appreciate that. Hey, Dark. Let's see here. Ketchup and mustard together defines me. Ooh, look at that. See, you're a uniter, not a divider. Actually, up until recently, I didn't like mustard. Up until like the last 10 years, my palate just didn't enjoy mustard unless you mixed it with mayonnaise. Mustard and mayonnaise is delicious, but just plain mustard, not my thing. But over the last 10 years, I like mustard. Ketchup and mustard, it's good. I don't know. I like it. Hey, Don, I said no. Okay, I'm sorry. No more pineapple pizza for me. So now we're still in the damn diner with these women, and they're just going through their thing, talking about how Kiwis don't like to be called Aussies and Aussies don't like to be called Kiwis and all this stuff. Jason, do you get offended if somebody called you a Kiwi? Would you get pissed off? I don't know. Jason would probably knock somebody out. He's got that big manly ass beard. He would strangle him with it. Pugwell says, oh, wait a minute. We got here. He's laughing. What's this now? Boy, I missed a bunch of y'all. I just got through all 5 prophecy films, or is that 6 films, Kal-El Daily? So that is the Christopher Walken first one, right? That's that one. I remember liking that one, and then I don't know if I ever saw any after that. I will have to check out your review to figure out what I need to see. Last year in my village, someone shouted another football team at me, but they were so polite and gentle about it. Quite funny, really. People in America are getting nuts with the sports thing. Like one of my friends, like he had a Bears magnet on his car, or a Bears sticker on his car, like a not a bumper sticker, but like a helmet thing. And he went into a fair in Wisconsin, like a county fair or whatever. And when he came back out, somebody had like keyed up the sticker. What the hell? I don't even like the Bears, and that's a dumbass thing to do. There's been multiple like fights and stabbings. I know in UK football it's like that as well, but um, yeah, it's I find that tribalism to be insane. It's basically just an extension of gang warfare. I'm green and yellow, and you're blue and orange. We hate each other. I put brown sauce on every piece of meat, chips, and mac and cheese. What exactly is brown sauce? No, I would assume brown sauce is like A1 steak sauce or something. But yeah, in general, if somebody's like, you want brown sauce on that? The answer is always no. I need to watch your prophecy videos and the films. Yeah, exactly. Exactly the same as mustard as you, Don. Yeah, see, the palate developed later for it. Sausage sizzle over here. Got to have ketchup, tomato sauce, and mustard. Ooh, look at that. Sausage sizzle. That's a good internet name. Hi, I'm Sausage Sizzle. Love Marlon Brando in A Streetcar Named Desire, The Wild One, Last Tango in Paris, and many others. Yeah, I feel bad because Brando, I never really watched a lot of old films. Well, in the middle of the night, I watched all these old films, but he was in a lot of dramas, so I didn't watch a lot of the dramas. The Wild One, A Streetcar Named Desire, etc. So later on, when I got older and I appreciated acting and the history of film, and I went back and watched them then. But as a youth, Marlon Brando was Kal-El, Jor-El from Superman. Appropriate that Kal-El's here. He was Jor-El in Superman, and then he was Island of Dr. Moreau. So in general, I wasn't a huge fan. He was also in The Italian Job, the remake, I think, with Marky Mark and Edward Norton, I think maybe. Or was that The Score he was in? No, he was in The Score. That's the one he's in. They came out around the same time. Heist movies run together sometimes in my mind. So we had a commercial while I rambled about Marlon Brando, and it's already done. The cars in this are all stuff that people would recognize from other movies. I haven't seen a lot of them, but like the Dodge Charger they're getting ready to take out for a spin, the white one, that's from Vanishing Point. This yellow, I don't even know what it is, with the black racing stripes down the middle, that's from a classic movie as well. I don't know. But I know that at one point they showed like where each of the cars came from, like what movie they were taken from. There's the Vanishing Point Charger. And I like all this because a lot of times, like as a sexual stereotype, they make it so women don't know. I'm stupid. I don't know anything about cars. I'm a girl. But here, these women, like, they're some hot rod heads. They dig it. They pop the hood right away. They recognize what type of motor they got. Like, they have a specialty, a favorite. Like they know what they're talking about. Oh, let's see here. I don't care if people get me confused with a Kiwi. I've been mistaken for a Kiwi, a Brit, a Norse god, just any other day. The Norse god thing, I totally see. I totally see that one, actually. If I was going to mistake you for anything, it would be that. The Brit, I understand too. Strangely, a lot of folks, I admit my UK accent picker-outer is terrible. Like if someone's Scottish or Irish accent is a little muddled, I can't tell the difference. Some very different parts. Like I can't tell the difference between a Welsh accent and a British accent. Like most people don't even know Wales is a country here. They don't teach us that stuff. So I know a lot of folks who confuse the Australian accent and the British accent all the time. It's like, how can you? They don't sound anything alike, but I don't know. One thing you can say about the Bears is great rapping. Go Fridge. Oh, he's here to do the Super Bowl shuffle. HP sauce, Don. HP. Do I want to know what HP stands for? Is that like a horseradish kind of thing? Gotta go do it. Star Wars exhibit at the museum. Great chatting with you all as per usual. Legends one and all. You got a Star Wars exhibit at the museum? Take live stream that. We want to watch that, not me. Make a video, please. Make 2 videos. Harry Potter sauce. There you go. There you go. Hewlett Packard. Bruce Packard. Bruce Potter. He is best on the waterfront. I could have been a contender. The scene is a great performance. Yeah, I think On the Waterfront was the only one. Like I said, I watched so many old school black and white movies as a kid late at night. I think On the Waterfront is the only one I remember from as a kid. Streetcar Desire, I had a friend who was in the play in college. And after watching the play, I kind of wanted to watch the movie because I felt like the people in the play were just sort of mimicking the movie. Here, Tarantino, speaking of Brian De Palma, there's a split screen shot here. The woman is in the front thinking in the foreground, and then Zoe Bell's in the background, like distracting her and kind of making moves. And to keep both in focus, they have to do a split screen. And you can kind of it gives it away because it's a blurry bokeh behind the woman in front. And then there's a weird line, like kind of down the side where you can see, like the line would be hidden here, So they like kind of cut it in a weird way where you have to notice the blur and the background goes away. That's a Brian De Palma thing. Carrie, he uses that a lot in Carrie, a lot of split screen in Carrie. But De Palma in general uses split screen a ton. So now they're arguing about the how Zoe wants to do the vanishing point thing. And this is a funny bit of business. Professor Macabro clued me into this. They leave Mary Elizabeth Winstead behind. They tell the farmer, like, we want to take your car out for a spin and see if we like it, because they're faking like they want to buy it. But really, they just want to, drive real fast and do the captain's mast thing or whatever. So they leave behind their car and Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the cheerleader outfit. And then after the whole thing ends, the movie, when they kill the bad guy, the movie ends. So we never see what happened to Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's just there, I don't know. My late wife was a car mechanic since she was 10 because of her whole family was. Yeah, I used to date a girl who was a car mechanic too, and that was super helpful. It was mildly emasculating that she knew way more about vehicles than I did, but at the same time, it's nice to be like, it's making a noise, and she just goes and pops the hood. Which problem here is your fan belt. Probably need new plugs and wires. Late wife was a car mechanic. Yeah, okay. Now this, compared to the first set of murders, that group, I have noticed that there's a great deal less grain in like they're trying to do less of the grindhouse thing. There's less hairs on the gate. There's less dust all over the film. There's very little of it. And the colors are very bright. In the first part, they were desaturated. Like it looked like the film had been played a bunch and, been projected a ton, had bright lights burning through it. But this second part, after the black and white and then the fade back to color, it's very bright. It pops. Right now we are at the 125-minute mark. So it's a hour and 53 minutes, which means there's a half hour left. I wonder what else Zoe Bell has been in since this. I believe after this, she got some other roles. There was also a really cool documentary. Oh boy, what was it called? I can't remember. It's about Ozploitation, the movies from the 70s with Aussie actors. And they talk about, 70s and 80s. They talk about like Razorback and a bunch of other stuff. Let's see here. I'm sure it'll be here. Where is it? Yeah, there you go. She was in Xena Warrior Princess, Kill Bill 1 and 2 as a stunt woman, a Catwoman as a stunt woman. So these are all stunt work, right? Yeah, they're stunt. I'm looking for actress. Wow, she has 41 actress roles. That's nice. Yeah, I remember her being in Hateful Eight. She's what's it called? Like 8-Horse Annie or something like that. 6-Horse Judy. There you go. 6-Horse Judy, because she can control 6 horses. Let's see. She was in Billy Elliot, Grindhouse, Planet Terror, Death Proof. She was in an episode of Lost. She was in Whip It, a movie about roller derby. Fallout Vegas, the video game. Let's see here. Django Unchained. I do remember her in that. She was in The Hateful Eight because she's Six Horse Judy. A lot of her stuff is very impressive. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, she played Janet Miller. She was in Malignant. I don't know if you guys saw Malignant. What a damn crazy movie that one was. And she played Scorpion. Get over here. So yeah. Here's where this part I say when I saw X, the Ty West movie, this scene felt like it inspired that entire film. This section where they're going to leave the cheerleader behind with this sort of farmhand guy, and they're going to take the car out for a spin. And she's like, "Yeah, we're making a movie about sexy cheerleaders." And the guy's like, "Cool." Huh. So now we're out on the open road. Since it's daytime, the roads aren't wetted down. The wetting down the road thing pretty much only works for night shots because you need the lights of streets and things to reflect off it. During the day, it doesn't quite work. So it needs to be dry roads. And they're getting ready to do a bunch of driving stunts, and it's not good to wet down the roads for that. And once again, I like the way they all kind of just argue and they have like, friend banter. Like they tell each other to shut the F up and all this stuff. This is fun because they have Captain's Mast, and we don't know what Captain's Mast is. And then when we see them get the belts out and the straps and hook it all up, then we kind of realize what it is. I don't know if I've ever seen that in another movie. It's kind of wild. Let's see here. Oh, I see Greetings and Salutations. Oh, there we go. Not quite Hollywood, of course. Ginger Ninja would know. Yeah, that's a really awesome documentary about Ozploitation, and they do a lot of really cool clips of like Mad Max ripoffs and just how insane those movies were made because there's less regulations of what you're allowed to do with people and stuff. HP Sauce's House of Parliament. I was totally unaware of that. I don't think we have that in America. I don't know. We don't have Parliament, so there you go. We have Parliament Funkadelic. Can I put that on anything? I will put that on anything. Remember Flashdance? She was a welder. You're there. Thank you for bringing that up. I had thought that maybe Aliens was the number one movie for welders. I forgot Flashdance. Something about the 80s. People really liked welders. And there he is, the professor. Greetings and salutations. Jason saw it last night and loved it. Hey, Professor Macabro. She was also in Raise, an all-female fight movie. I saw that in her IMDb. I was unfamiliar with that film, though. Hey, Professor. It was pretty good. I'd be interested in watching that one. Don, it was creepy. What was creepy? Hey, Jim, Ginger, and Russell. Poor sexy Mary Elizabeth Winstead, all excited to be in a Tarantino film when she got left behind and never seen again. Yeah, I shouted you out, Professor. You were the one that pointed out to me. The movie builds to such a crescendo and then it ends like very violently, but it follows the King Kong rule I pointed out when we watched Kong is once you kill the monster, the movie's over. Everything after the monster or the villain's death, anything after that is a waste of time. You're on a fast track to the credits once the monster is dead. So in this, when they finally dispatch of Stuntman Mike, it credits immediately. Like there is no going back for Mary Elizabeth Winstead, making sure she's cool. Hey, Professor. Hello, Professor. Echo. Yeah, Professor, I assume you've seen this movie a bunch. This feels like a Professor movie, although it's a very light on boobs, but this is the type of thing, since he enjoys a good wild schlocky ride. I like all this where they keep saying, we're going to do Captain's Mast, we're going to do Captain's Mast, and everybody's like, we don't know what that is. And then as the audience, we kind of learn Wait a minute, she's going to hang onto the roof of a car or with nothing but leather straps? And especially like, since we know this is all non-CGI and it is an actual stunt woman doing stunt work, there's a certain sense of like danger, even though we know it's fine because the movie came out, but it feels more intense. Like, with the danger of filming this feels like a real thing that, we can experience. And especially since we know Stuntman Mike is out there lurking, it's extra scary because it's like, well, at any point they could come running into the car and she's on there hanging on the hood. Jason says Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character now lives on that farm. Yeah, I think that that needs to be the sequel. Is her on What Happened to Her on the Farm? Yeah, it has no goth boobs. Sorry, Professor. Where's the boobs at? Yep, I have the extended cuts DVD box set of this and Planet Terror. You weren't here earlier for our discussion. Which one do you like better, Professor? Planet Terror or Death Proof? I bet you're a Death Proof guy. I don't know. That's a tough one. You might also like the Machine Gun Leg Lady. That's tough to say. Watching a video called 50 Terrifying Animal Invasions in Homes and Swimming Pools. Interesting but creepy. Wow, that's a lot. 50 terrifying animal invasions in homes and swimming pools. Yeah, that sounds actually scarier than Death Proof. True Echo, but it has Ramona Flowers for a bit, and that's enough. There you go. So after a few minutes of watching Zoe Bell play Captain's Mask, now we're or Captain's Mast, I should say. We cut to Stuntman Mike on the prowl. Here he comes. And it's good that they do that setup with the first group of women, because now as soon as we see the car, we know what he's all about. We don't need any explanation. He's a little bit older, because it's been 7 years or whatever since the last time he murdered. But if this Dodge Charger is supposed to be, or is it a Challenger? It's a Charger, right? If it's supposed to be like the fastest, baddest car, Stuntman Mike's car is faster. Like, okay, now they're going to floor it. And now he's going to floor it. This is all, I'm sure, inspired by Mad Max, the George Miller stuff, these car crashes. Even that shot's got to be, I think, maybe from a pickup truck filmed in front, because it was kind of high angle and they didn't use drones. Yeah, this really adds just awesome tension to it, like where she's stuck on the hood of the car and Stuntman Mike is just banging into it and knocking her all over the place. And I like that Zoe Bell's character's name is Zoe. Like, she's basically playing herself, So once again, the movie's does a weird thing where it's making real life into the movie and the movie into real life. It's very meta. Oh, let's see here. Professor says, I like both. Planet Terror is the most fun, but Death Proof is a great movie. So I still watch them as a double feature as it meant to be. Yeah, that's, I said this earlier. I wanted to originally watch this as the double feature with the Grindhouse trailers in the middle and stuff. But nobody shows that presentation. Nobody streams that presentation, at least. I noticed this movie was made, the budget was $30 million, and then it made 31.1 at the box office. So is that 31 when it was released on its own, or is that the 31 that Grindhouse as a double feature made? Like, I don't know. That's, the accounting on that one's weird. Well, there it is. What do we got here? True Echo, but doesn't know flowers. It's that's a Tuesday in Australia, Russell. The home invasions and the scary pool thing. I just got a Ramona Flowers Funko in a mystery box. I was shocked at how much it's worth. Jason figured that because I watch Aussie's Deadly Animals. Yeah, Aussie's Deadly Animals sounds terrifying. That sounds way worse than Death Proof. Ramona Flowers Funk, you say? Funko, yes. The professor actually wants to smell Ramona Flowers when she smells funky, though. He's on a different level. Jason, JK for you. What do you call a boomerang that won't come back? A stick. You know what? That one gets a this. All right. This is like just watching it, when she's hanging on to the straps aren't like attached. She's just holding on to them. So now she's lost both straps and she's just straight like holding on to the hood. Now, most likely there's some sort of like belt device that's, like there's a hole in the hood and the belt device goes through and it's her belt like keeping her strapped to the roof of the hood of the car. But just watching her like turn and squirm as the car is going so fast and Stuntman Mike's trying to run into her and all that, like you feel a genuine sense of unease. Like I say, I haven't really felt it since the Mad Max movies. There's the classic line where Stuntman Mike's getting ready to run into the back of the car and Zoe's on the front of it. And he says, "Get ready to fly, bitch." Very Freddy Krueger. Yeah, this is all like, I think I saw Vanishing Point once. I saw the original Gone in 60 Seconds once. Saw Corvette Summer once. A lot of these movies like this, Cannonball Run I saw a million times, but that's not like this. But just these 70s and 80s movies where they just really play up the cars. A lot of car fetish stuff. We don't get a lot of car. Only the Fast and the Furious movies are car fetish now, and even then, that's mostly just crazy action. Huh. Oh, let's see here. Zoe Bell also popped up in a gator movie I saw a few months ago called Freshwater. She played a gator expert, and in my review, I mentioned she was the highlight of that. Yeah, in general, I see how Tarantino like became enamored with her. Like, just even she has a very like genuine personality. Like her smile looks genuine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm wondering if perhaps she was an actress and then she got into stunt stuff, because it feels like she's made to be a stunt woman, but she also has a lot of acting chops. So yeah, she goes flying off the car and everybody thinks she's dead. And then they shoot at Stuntman Mike and he drives off. And then Zoe pops up from the bushes like, "Hi, I'm fine. See?" So now they realize that they want to go get revenge on Stuntman Mike. I love that. "Well, let's go get him." And the one girl's like, "Hell yeah. Let's kill the bastard." What is old girl's name? In the car right now, we have Rosario Dawson, Zoe Bell, and Tracy Toms. She plays Kim. That's what else. What else has Tracy Toms been in? She looks super familiar to me. She's most known for Rent, Raise. She was also in Raise. There you go. She was in Devil Wears Prada. A whole bunch of stuff that I wouldn't watch. TV movies and Family Guy. And wow, she has how many acting credits? 105, and I'm not really familiar with her work. That's sad. Yeah, wow. Like none of these are good. Grey's Anatomy, Criminal Minds, an episode. American Gods. I remember American Gods. That's a fun show. Wow, yeah, she's been in everything, but nothing I want to watch. Huh? Interesting. She was on Veep. She was in that movie Raise. Looper. She was in Safe House. Okay. When they tried to redo Wonder Woman, she was in that show. Yeah, I guess Rent is the only thing I've ever seen her in besides this. Interesting. That's cool though that he tried to get unknown cast or whatever. Rosario's pretty big, but And then Rose McGowan is big in the first half of it. But everybody else is pretty much like Eli Roth and Quentin Tarantino are both like bigger stars than most of the women who are in this. Like more recognizable at least. Oh, let's see here. I saw a video in Dangerous Rides, and there was a park in Australia where you go to a plexiglass sideliner underwater with a large saltwater croc. Wow, that sounds crazy. White Lightning and Gator with Burt Reynolds are classic films. Are they both car ones? Gator isn't, but actually, Burt Reynolds was also in Hooper. I think it's called. It's a stuntman movie. I think it's called Hooper. But then that movie they kind of ripped off to make The Fall Guy with Lee Majors, and now The Fall Guy has been remade into a movie starring Ryan Gosling. But back then they weren't huge names, though. Yeah. What Tarantino and or Rosario Dawson and Rose McGowan. Yeah, I think this is probably when Rosario was first kind of getting going, and Rose McGowan. What would she have been in prior to this that everybody would know her from? Let's find out. Prior to Deathproof and that, she was, there's Machete, Deathproof, Planet Terror. She was in The Black Dahlia, the Brian De Palma one. She was in Monkey Bone. She was in Ready to Rumble. I do remember that. She played one of the Nitro Girls. She was in Jawbreaker. That's probably her biggest role prior to this. She was in Scream. Duh. Yeah, she's the speaking of Professor, she's the boob girl. That's like her whole role is just to be the big boob dumb girl. And she was in the Doom Generation. That's right. Have you ever seen the Doom Generation? That's a wild ride. So now they're taking the fight to Stuntman Mike, and he's running away. Like he was the aggressor chasing them, and they were panicked, and he was loving it. And now he's panicked, and they're loving it. And old girl Tracy Thoms is just talking all that trash. She keeps saying like, "Oh, you don't like it, Nash, you redneck bitch, huh?" Blah blah blah. Like she's just trash talking him the whole time. Yeah, he's getting his ass kicked. Wow, and there was like a boat planter in somebody's yard they drove through, and the one girl's like, "Did you just hit a boat?" Oh yeah, now they're driving through the cow field. I do remember this because I was like, "You guys are gonna hit a cow? You guys better, those cows better move." I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Where are we at here? There was a scene with a large black bear in their house. Scream, Jawbreaker, Phantoms. Oh yeah, Phantoms. Let's see here. Didn't know Mary Liz Winston was in this. Was it Valentine? I don't know what else she did before this. Love Hooper and have it in our Burt Reynolds playlist. Yeah, I remember Hooper. That's Jan Michael Vincent, maybe. Is that the other guy in it? Who's his underling? But yeah, I enjoyed Hooper pretty well. The Doom Generation, that was messed up and very 90s. Yeah, it was like I don't know, it's a crazy movie about threesomes and end of the world or whatever. I don't know. It was wild, a road trip type thing. That was when somebody told me to watch, and then I watched it, and I was like, "What the hell's wrong with them? Don't tell people this is a movie they need to go see." Uh, but in the film Stick in the Longest Yard were fun films. Yeah. Burt had a lot of good ones. I'm surprised Burt Reynolds was never in a Tarantino movie because Tarantino loved all those stars from that era, and he thinks of them as big stars. Wow. Okay, so there was a casualty. Some guy on a motorcycle had to slam into a building. So we're coming down to the end. How much we got left? They're at 144. So there's roughly 9 minutes left, but with credits, I bet 7. So we're winding down. They're chasing Stuntman Mike, and his car is all beat up. Yeah, I feel like this was an interesting departure for Tarantino. Like he's very protective. Like I said, he only does the 10 movies. He wants to do his 10, and he's cut himself off at a 10 limit. There was news this past 2 weeks ago. His movie, The Critic, his final film, the 10th, he canceled it. So he's going to do something else as his 10th film. But it's interesting to me that he picked this to be one of the 10. You know, it's a real departure from the rest of the stuff he did, but it kind of shows his action, movie chops and his weird Brian De Palma chops. And now the same way they were showing the cars real lovingly and making them look like so cool and fast, now it's all about showing like Demolition Derby, like how this one's missing a fender and that one's got all these paint scratches, and it's the wear and tear on the vehicles is now part of the story. Oh, let's see here. He says, well, first, Jason says that Doom Generation was a dirty, filthy road trip. Yeah, it was. Then Bones pops up from out of nowhere. I forgot he was still lurking. Him and Jim must be lurking in the bathroom together. Mary Elizabeth Winstead was in Final Destination 3. And then Jason wants to know, was that before or after Death Proof? And then Mary Elizabeth was in Sky High, had Bruce Campbell and Kurt Russell, then Final Destination 3. So, yeah, I do remember Sky High. I don't think I ever saw it, though. I remember when it came out. White Line Fever with Jan Michael Vincent and The Mechanic with Charles Bronson, I love. Well, how can you not? He says it was before. So Bones is a Mary Elizabeth Winstead aficionado. And our friend Gareth is here. Morning, Gareth. Later today, I will be on Gareth's channel, I believe 3 p.m. Central, 4 Eastern. He and I will be watching the Fred Ward classic, Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. Although over there, the title I think is just Remo. But yeah, I'll be going to, after this, I'll be going to bed and then waking up and having lunch, and then I'll go over to Gareth's channel. So be sure to check me there, bro. Catch me outside. How about that? So now, the hunter has become the hunted kind of thing, where Kurt Russell is, he's gone from chasing them, and now they're chasing him, and you can see the relief on his face when he thinks he's gotten away from these crazy ass women. But that was actually a really masterful shot there. There's like an upper level frontage road kind of thing along the side of the road, and Kurt Russell thinks he's gotten away, but then we see the other car kind of just driving on top of it like, no, you didn't get away, buddy. You in trouble. Russell says he met Kurt and Goldie in Northern Ontario years ago. Nice couple to talk with. Yeah, I find their relationship mildly romantic. Like the fact that they never got married, they just were in love and hung out, and they're just like, why bother getting married? That's all we're going to do is get divorced. But as long as we're just, two people who love each other, it's easier to ride out. Especially since they're both rich. A lot of times marrying helps with, paperwork and taxes and buying a house and all that. But if you're both rich, who cares? She was also in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and Cloverfield Lane. Oh, I do remember her in Cloverfield Lane. I do remember that. Professor says he might be collecting her filmography for research. Mm-hmm. She is rather cute. I feel you. Hey, Bones. Dem Bones. I was lurking in my living room watching the Mayans and decided to come back and visit you right quick. You were watching the Mayans? Oh, the Sons of Anarchy spinoff? Or were you watching actual Mayans? Were you watching Apocalypto? Okay, so they've caught up with Kurt, and they got him out of the car, and here's where they beat the living crap out of him, and then Zoe does a big roundhouse kick and knocks him. What the fuck? They're gonna come back. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So Zoe does a roundhouse kick and it knocks out Stuntman Mike, and he's passed out on the ground, and they all celebrate. And then the yellow title card comes up, directed by Quentin Tarantino. Well, what the fuck? Planet Terror was not on this channel a week ago, and now it's on Tubi. They're recommending that it be on next. It's an hour and 46 minutes. I don't know. I might have to do that maybe Monday night or something, Sunday night. But yeah, the Quentin Tarantino card comes up, directed by Tarantino. Once they've vanquished the villain, like I said, when the villain's been beaten or the monster's dead, movie's over. And then it says directed by Quentin Tarantino, and then they come back and we see Rosario Dawson do the big leg drop thing. The back heel of her cowboy boot stomps in his face and crushes his whole skull, and that's how it ends. So it's it's very cathartic. It's got kind of a I spit on your grave ending almost. Oh, let's see here. Folks are saying good morning to Gareth, as well as Mr. Bones, and Gareth and Mr. Bones are saying hello back. It's Russell says, I love Son of Anarchy and the Mayans teleseries. I've never seen Mayans. I saw a handful of, the first couple seasons of Son of Anarchy. Morning Video Tasties. Same with Gene Simmons. She's the only reason to watch this gross film. You buffoon. Oh, I mean, no, sorry about that. Hi, Ninja. No, Deathproof is fantastic, except for the part with the gory scene up front with where the car crash happens and Rose McGowan. Well, first Rose McGowan gets killed, and then when they go take out those other Jungle Julia and them. But yeah, I find it to be quite a fascinating homage to Brian De Palma. I think it's a kind of a grindhouse departure from a usual horror movie. But it's fun. I like it. It's literally a wild ride, Not into Christmas, but that Santa Claus Chronicles with Kurt and Goldie was cool because of Kurt and Goldie. Yeah, I'm not a big Christmas movie. Well, I've seen a bunch of Christmas movies, but in general, I'm not like the way some people are with Christmas movies. And I enjoyed part 1. I never saw Christmas Chronicles 2 or Santa Claus Chronicles 2 or whatever. Axe kick to the skull. Yeah, it is. She does the big she has the cowboy boot on, and she brings her foot way up, and we see his head get smashed in. That's the revenge for those women who were killed in the car in the first half. Professor, I love that vampire film. What vampire film? Let's see here. Professor, I love it. What else we got here? Have all seasons of Sons of Anarchy on DVD. Have I seen Hobo with a Shotgun on? Yes, I had. We talked about that earlier. The various trailers that were in this that have been made into movies like Machete and Thanksgiving. I still want to see Don't. And then I talked about how Hobo with a Shotgun was actually a contest submission to make your own Grindhouse trailer, and it was so good that it ended up getting it made. But I love me some Rutger Hauer. I try to see everything with Rutger Hauer, or else they disappear like tears in the rain. Everybody's saying hello to Bones. Captain Ron. Yeah, that's classic Kurt Russell. Hello, Echo. Hello, Mr. Bones. Bones, I have the DVD and love it. Hello, Jim. Good morning, Bones. So everybody's just saying hello to one another. And I think that's appropriate that I say goodbye then. So we watched 2 hours today. We watched 2 hours last night. I did 2 hours with Larry. I did 3 hours with Sean. What I make up for, or what I lack in size, I make up for in longevity and stamina. So I appreciate everybody who joined me and hung out tonight. A bunch of the usual faces and usual crew. Be sure to check out Gareth's channel, Video Tasties. He's live in the chat right now. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll be on there watching, or I should say today, depending. I'm one of those people where tomorrow to me is when I wake up. So like last night, Gareth and I worked out this stream for Saturday, and he's like, we'll do it tomorrow. And I woke up on Friday thinking it was like, is it today? What day is it? So yeah, be sure to join us on Gareth's channel where we're going to watch Remo Williams. That's got a weird connection to Kill Bill, I would say, with the Pai Mei character. The Joel Grey character in Remo Williams is very much like Pai Mei. But we'll talk about all that on his channel. Let's see here. I am Echotron, member of the Decepticons. You're Bruce. Same, Russell, I found my blue at the Dollar Tree. Professor says, "Take care, everyone. Good night, everyone. Going to stay up longer." Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. I may put on a movie and try to fall asleep too. Any suggestions of what I should watch? Don't tell me. I'll find something. I'll probably put on Shudder. Horror movies are great to fall asleep to. You get put on something dark and just kind of soak up the bad acting. He's going to watch The Three Stooges. Gareth wants me to go to bed because he wants me fresh for tomorrow's show. Yeah, boy. After all the streaming I've done, this is in 26 hours. I've done 2, 4, 7, 2, 9. So yeah, 9 hours of streaming in the last 24, basically. Goodbye, Gareth. And yeah, I thank all of you for joining me. I thank you for hanging out once again. This one's kind of an acquired taste, but I'd done other previous Tarantinos, so it felt natural. I appreciate you all joining. I appreciate you as a person. I thank you for always hanging out and listening to me ramble. That's cool as hell. But please sure to join me again tomorrow. If you're not on a Video Tasties channel and watching Remo Williams with us, I recommend you stop by here at some point in the evening. My friend, the Horror Cat Dad, and I will be watching Batman 89. So keep an eye out for that. Jim is still lurking. All right. Well, I think this is a good time to tell everybody I appreciate you very much, and I wish you nothing but green grass and high tides forever. Good night, folks.